republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now call a roll. Commissioner President Wyatt.
Present.
Commissioner Vice President Webb.
Present.
Commissioner Andrews.
Present.
Commissioner Gray.
Present.
Commissioner Dr. Harris.
Present.
Commissioner Hembry. Here. Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Malone. Commissioner Malone. Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Also present this evening, we have Mr. Rashawn K. Hassan, Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Cameron E. Cox, Chief Financial Officer, Board Secretary, Dr. Elizabeth Filipatos, Chief of Staff, Chief Carletta Jones, Chief of Human Resources, Chief Chris Payne, Chief of Information Technology, Chief Bashan L. Hill, Chief of Marketing and Communication, Dr. Danielle Mastro Giovanni, Chief of Equity and School Improvement, Ms. Khalifa Shabazz, General Counsel. I didn't see Kaylin. And then we have two soon-to-be sworn-in board commissioners. We have our other board commissioner absent this evening. Madam President, we do have the quorum. I'll read the disclosure. Welcome to the business meeting of the Plainfield Board of Education. Members hope that you'll find this meeting interesting and informative. We thank you for taking the time out to attend. Please be advised that this and all meetings of the board are open to the media and public, consistent with the Open Public Meetings Act, and that the advance notice required therein has been provided to the Courier News and Tap Into Plainfield on Monday, December 8th, 2025, to be advertised on Friday, December 12th, 2025, and also provided to the Plainfield Public Schools District website, the Plainfield City Clerk, Police Department, and Plainfield Public Library for posting. Madam President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cox. And before I go into my president's remarks, I'm actually going to ask Mr. Hassan to swear in our two new student board commissioners. We're going to have them be sworn in before we begin our meeting, which starts with my president's remarks, and I'd like to have them seated at the dais before we get started. So, Mr. Hassan.
Isis Grover. If you could join us here. So, Isis, we want to congratulate you on being elected and selected to serve as a student commissioner representing Plainfield Public Schools for the 25-26 school year. Your role is going to help drive impact for your student peers, and we ask that you, again, show up every day and bring your heart to this work. Understand that in this space, your voice matters just as much as anyone else's does. So if you could, please repeat after me the following oath. I, Isis Grover, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the student code of conduct of the Plainfield Public Schools and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same while expressing the collective voices of the students I help to represent while advocating in this role to the best of my ability. I, Isis Grover, do solemnly swear or affirm that I possess the qualifications prescribed by the district administration for the office of student commissioner of the Plainfield Board of Education, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of that office
of that office
according
according
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
I further swear and affirm
I further swear and affirm
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold the office
to hold the office
of Student Commissioner
of Student Commissioner
of the Plainfield Board of Education,
of the Plainfield Board of Education,
City of Plainfield,
City of Plainfield,
and the County of Union,
in the County of Union,
State of New Jersey,
State of New Jersey,
and that I have,
and that I have,
to the best of my knowledge,
to the best of my knowledge,
no code of conduct infractions
no code of conduct infraction
that will disqualify me
that would disqualify me
from holding
from holding
the aforesaid office.
excuse me,
The aforesaid office.
the aforesaid office.
All right. Sworn and subscribed to me, before me on this 16th of December, 2025. Congratulations, you are now officially a Student Commissioner of the Plainfield Board of Education. So we do have your oath here for you. We're going to sign this. This remains in the records for the district, right? So you are forever cemented into the halls of history of Plainfield Public Schools as a student commissioner, but you will also receive a more decorative version of this that you will be able to, we'll place it inside of the frame for you, and you get to take that one home with your family, and you could do whatever you want to do on the gram, Snapchat, whatever you need, all right?
Thank you.
You are very welcome. Madam President?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's on there on both.
Okay.
After we frame it, we'll call it to take photos together.
Okay, thank you.
But your seat is officially here now. We have your name tag for you. So go ahead and officially take your seat, Isis.
We are. We're going to frame her thing first.
Look, Mom, she got her name up there.
All right.
We're going to call the family up to take a picture of her once we get her thing framed.
Absolutely. And next we have Heaven Frazier. Is Heaven here?
Kevin's not here.
Heaven's not here? Okay. All right. So we will hold on to Heaven and we'll swear her in at the next,
Reorg.
or the reorg meeting. All right. So at this time, once Mr. Hill places the certificate.
can start coming up.
Yep, we can take photos.
So that you guys can take photos with her? Only if she wants you to, you have to. Najee, come on.
Yeah. Anybody who came out to support as a part of the family, extended family, come on up.
Support her. You guys can come on up.
Yeah.
We'll get the district one sent to you.
Okay, thank you.
Come this way.
No, I'm saying I'm putting it back here so it doesn't.
Sure, it doesn't get messed up. Got you.
Can we have one with the
Take a
board?
picture with
Yeah.
her?
And also, if we could get one with Dr. Smith-Need,
Yes.
principal.
Congratulations.
Okay, good evening again, and welcome ISIS to the dais. We're excited to have you here. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our December business meeting. This is our final meeting of the year. As we enter this holiday season, we are reminded of the power of togetherness, gratitude, and hope. This time of year invites us to pause, reflect, and appreciate the community we have built around our students. It is a season that calls us to lead with compassion, to show up for one another, and to remember why this work matters so deeply. Tonight also marks the start of Plainfield's basketball season, and we want to wish our student athletes, coaches, and families a successful and exciting year ahead. We are proud of the dedication and teamwork they represent, both on and off the court, and we're hoping that they're off to a great start. I'm especially pleased to congratulate once again our newly sworn-in student commissioner, Isis Grover. We have truly felt the absence of student voices from both Plainfield High School and Pinnacle. And so it means a lot to us to have you back at the table to represent your peers and advocate for what you all want and need here in the district. We are here to serve you, and together we will continue to do that and move Plainfield Public Schools forward. Before I move on, I want to share some exciting news regarding board certification. As many of you may or may not know, board certification recognizes a full board's commitment to effective governance and continuous improvement through focused training in areas such as ethics, goal setting, policy, finance, communications, community engagement, and student achievement. While it can be challenging to meet all of the requirements, I am proud to share that as per our NJSBA representative, Jean Clary, our board is in compliance and on track for recognition in this coming spring. This accomplishment reflects our compliance, our intentional focus on effective board governance, and the hard work we've all put in, and our dedication to continuous growth for the benefit of our students and community. And so I want to thank our board for your hard work, your dedication. As I stated, it has been challenging to make sure that we're all here and all on one accord, but we've gotten the training that we need to be considered a board whose focus is very intentional on our work and effective governance, and we will be recognized for board certification with this board, this sitting board as it stands right now in the spring of 2026. So clap for yourselves, because that is very exciting. I don't remember any other board that has done that, but I could be mistaken. I'm only about 18 years old, so I haven't been around that long. So what I can remember might not be true, but it's an accomplishment that I'm very, very proud of. At each meeting, I share a month in review video to highlight the incredible work happening across our district, and it is always a reminder of the joy, growth, and excellence taking place in our classrooms and a celebration of our students and our staff who make everything happening in Plainfield Public Schools possible. But as I close and before the video is played, I'm honored to extend privilege of the floor to Catherine Balch, who is here this evening. I ask that she come share and present her end of the year report on lunchbooks. This program has made a meaningful impact on our students, sparking excitement, nurturing a love of reading, and creating moments of connection that truly, truly matter. I'm inspired by the stories that she shared with me and by the joy that our students show, and look forward to how we can continue to support and grow in this important work together. I also look forward on being able to read with our students come this Thursday over at Stillman School. So, Ms. Balch, if I'll have you at the mic.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, President Wyatt, for that introduction. I am so happy to be here to mark this end-of-year report, to give you this end-of-year report. I am going to give you some general overview of the Lunchbooks program, our book giveaway program, and then I'll drill down to a few statistics. So we at Lunchbooks, we envision schools filled with students eager to read and talk about books. The Lunchbooks program is on a mission to help public school students develop an appetite for reading books. To reach our goal in this literacy effort, we do 4 things, basically. We partner with other organizations like you, the Plainfield Public School District, as well as with the Plainfield Public Library, the Dupree Arts Center, and Angels for Action. We solicit we solicit volunteers, thank you. We accept, sort, and store donated books. We raise money and apply for grants to buy the kinds of books the kids want to read. When you, the school district, made the decision to sponsor the program back in 2022, you dramatically improved our ability to coordinate our activities with your staff. Everyone from the principals and supervisors to the security guards and custodians have welcomed us. The teachers, especially the teachers, and the literacy coaches have appreciated our visits. This year we had enough volunteers to appear in 12 schools. In 4 of those schools we visited weekly to read stories and give away books to students. We have given away more than this year in 2025, we have given away more than 8,000 books. The number of students impacted by the program comes to about 5,000. This year, our efforts have been recognized by local, county, and state organizations. We received the Plainfield Education Association Friend of Education Award and the 2nd Street Youth Center Volunteer of the Year Award. The Rotary Club of Union County invited us to speak about our efforts combating declining literacy rates. And the Union Diamond Circle Club of retired teachers asked me to outline our origins and operations. At the 2nd Street Youth Center Gala, Assemblywoman Linda Carter presented us with a joint legislative resolution that states in part that we have established a model worthy of emulation. This is the resolution. I was surprised. I didn't know it was. So it says a lot more than that, but that's the one I wanted to point out. Because I wanted to point out that part of the statement, because this model is worthy of emulation. Other school districts would be really proud of having a program like this. And they can take the name. I mean, I'm not trademarking the name. This is all free. This is public school stuff. So they can take the name. They can make up another name for a program just like it. But the model is giving books to students that they want to read. So next year, in 2026, my hope is that more parents, more retired teachers, more business people, more residents of every background will join us in giving kids stories they want to read. With more volunteers and more books, we could, among other things, we could read weekly to more classes and more schools. We could table at more events throughout the school year. We could support book clubs and student-led projects. On behalf of all the volunteers, I want to thank you for opening doors. I want to thank you, the district, for opening doors throughout the district so we can share our love of reading with young people. They get so excited when they see us approach their classroom, rolling our wagon full of books down the hallway. After reading, some of the youngest students, I mean, we're talking kindergartners, preschoolers, first graders, the youngest thank us with a hug. The older students, after getting a favorite book, honest to God, this happened like a week ago, they practically were dancing around their desk. They got Wimpy Kid, and that's 5 of them. My hope is that next year we can add to their growing home libraries, because now some of these kids have 3 lunchbox books at home, and they're telling me, I said, well, where do you keep your books? And they said, under my bed. I go, great place. Great place. And somebody said, oh, on the bookshelf with the other books. I said, wonderful. But they're growing their own little library. So anyway, it's very fun. It's very fun for us. And we welcome you on Thursday. We're so happy you want to be a part of it.
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Do any board members have any questions?
I was just going to ask, do any board members have any questions or comments that they'd like to share at this time?
Congratulations on the work that you've been doing so far. It's been very impactful. Godspeed to you and good luck.
Thank you so much.
And this follow-up with Commissioner Webb, I know you've been doing it for quite a long time, and so again, we appreciate the dedication and commitment to it.
My pleasure.
I think when school boards and communities come together, magical things can take place.
I agree.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your partnership.
All right, so Nick, now you can cue up the month in review highlight video before I finalize my remarks for the evening. Thank you. With my president's remarks, and I just wanted to say that tonight is the last official meeting for Commissioner Smith and Commissioner Gray, and I wanted to thank you all, thank you both, for your leadership, your service, and your commitment to our students, the staff, and the entire district. Where did Commissioner
She Smith just go? got to move into the restroom.
I will thank her again when she comes. But this might be your last and final meeting of the year, but our work is not finished. So I wanted to say, let's close this year out with intention, unity, and purpose, and stay grounded in our service and driven to do what's best for our students. Thank you all. I wish everyone a peaceful, joyful, and meaningful holiday. Happy holidays to everybody. Again, when Commissioner Smith comes back, I will say a few words to her when I get the chance. But Mr. Hassan, you may proceed. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam President. I too want to echo your sentiments in thanking Commissioner Gray and Commissioner Smith for their service and dedication to the Plainfield Board of Education and the Plainfield community during their terms as commissioners.
The last part of my president's remarks, I was thanking you and Commissioner Gray for your dedication and your commitment and the impact that you guys have had
Thank you.
on our students. Thank you for your service. All right, I'll say it again at reorg.
All good, Nick? Yep. Thank you, sir. This time I'd like to ask that everyone join We also know that our progress is something that's going to take place over a number of years. So we want to celebrate these wins, and I will speak a little later in the presentation about some of the specific strategies that we've taken. Moving on to our ELA results. You can see the results here for our students. We did identify that there are some challenges across grade 6. And we also want to note and recognize that during the course of this school year, our students have probably experienced more testing on the front end of the school year than we have in probably the last 10 or 15 years. The state of New Jersey implemented an adaptive model to the NJSLA, and all school districts in the state of New Jersey were required to conduct that field testing during the course of this school year. If you speak to any student in those testing grades, if you speak to any of the teachers, they will in fact tell you that there was an extreme amount of testing, and that prior to us even hitting November, everyone was really feeling burnout throughout the entire school district. So I think it's also important for us to note that as we look at those results from our interim assessments. This was in fact the last assessment that we gave to our students at the start of the school year. Now, as we move forward, we are approaching this with bite-sized chunks. So we know we have a very, very aggressive goal to try to have 46 and 42% of our students show proficiency across ELA and math. That's almost a 20% gain or increase from where we ended last school year, right? And we're talking about exponential growth. The probability of that happening in one school year, it's not likely. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to push each and every day, and that our teachers are not going to go into the classroom and lead with that understanding that we have high expectations for them, and we also have high expectations for our students. So as we progress and we move forward towards interim 2, we are expecting to see 35% of our students across grades 3 to 8 reach that proficiency target that we've set. And you'll see here that for us, that's 65% or better on the interim assessments, because we've normed that to use that as the threshold that aligns with that 750-point cut score on the NJSLA that our students will be responsible for achieving this year. Now, as we've closed out our performance cycle 1, here are some observations that we've identified. We are making strides as it relates to our cross-departmental collaboration. Our supervisors, I believe, are collaborating effectively, particularly on our multilingual accommodations. This school year, we rolled out an approved model from the Department of Education that allows us to provide bilingual resource support in the form of a push-in model across our elementary schools. And we know that it took us a while to kind of work out the kinks, but as we walk into our classrooms, when we closed out our first round observations, we saw a few things. We see the lesson planning, sharing taking place across our organization. We've hit that switch inside of our student information system where we house our lesson plans. But we're also seeing our bilingual resource teachers push into the classroom and provide meaningful and intentional support. So if I'm a teacher and I'm in that math class and I have a bilingual resource teacher pushing in during my period, we know across our elementary schools, 95% of our classrooms have 25 students or less. But that means that during that math period, I'm able to probably split my classroom in half. One teacher may be focusing on supporting 12 students, and the other may have 13. Those are targeted supports and interventions that we'll continue to provide to our students. As we think about our academic gains, we are in fact seeing real academic gains despite some of the challenges. We don't believe that our students can't learn and that they can't accomplish great things. We expect all of our students to be able to come into our classrooms and excel. But we also know that there are some things we have to tighten up on in order to allow our students to take more ownership of their educational experience. And for us, that means leaning more towards our gradual release. As we closed out our first round observations, one observation that was very glaring to myself, members of my cabinet, and other administrators is that we still have some teachers that are kind of holding on to that learning experience for the students. Meaning, if you walk into the classroom, you're seeing more lecturing from the teachers as opposed to student-led discussion and dialogue in the classroom. We will realize our greatest gains when we take a step back, right? Get rid of our fears as the educators and allow our students to take control of that educational experience. But it also means that we have to provide targeted professional development for our educators so that they, in fact, know how to do that in the classroom. Again, our math results are trending positively, and I want to give a huge shout out to our students in grade 3 because they showed the strongest results as it relates to our math proficiency. And the last piece is our pacing guide. So pacing guide, this was something that was identified in the 5-year strategic plan to ensure that we develop curriculum maps, that we had pacing guides that were properly aligned. And this is work that we continue to adjust each and every day. I am proud to state that when we walk into our classrooms, the overwhelming majority of our teachers were in fact in alignment with our pacing guide. So we have a plus or minus 2 weeks when we think about where a teacher should be on our pacing guide. And we understand that there's some challenges that may take place. Sometimes you have to go back and reteach content because we don't want to move forward without giving the students the opportunity to master that content, right? So for our teachers who may be listening, what are we going to do about making adjustments to pacing guides? That is something that happens when we get to our interim 3 cycle. We have our content area supervisors who will be working on that to make sure that any adjustments that need to be made are made to support you in the classrooms. This time I want to shift a little bit and talk about some of the supports that we've provided to our educators. And we are a tech-forward organization, and I don't think that we're ever going to turn back and start to backtrack on where we are with this. Last school year, held focus groups with administrators, held focus groups with teachers, And I ask this one question consistently: if there's one thing that we could remove from your workload, what would it be? Got the same answer every time, and that answer was lesson planning. Now, when you hear something like that, you're like, oh, we don't want to develop lesson plans. Well, how can we properly prepare for, to support our students in the classroom? But I think what our teachers were saying to us was that they wanted us to transform the lesson planning process so that it wasn't as much about compliance as it was about them creating and designing experiences that will really meet the needs of our students. So if you've ever developed lesson plans, this is something that might take you 3 hours on the weekend, right? When you could or want to be sitting home, maybe spending time with your children, et cetera, right? So we think about providing that balance for our staff. We embarked on a journey to provide lesson plans for our teachers in grades 3 and 7 as a prototype. If you're a teacher in grades 3 to 7 in our school district, you have pre-designed lesson plans that have already been created for you. You just have to go in, make sure that you complete your intellectual planning and prep protocols, and execute that lesson plan. You can create the greatest lesson plan on paper, but if you are not adept or equipped to properly execute that in the classroom, all bets are off. So we've also rolled out a new tool in our school district as a result of the district's AI task force that was established last school year. Our task force was comprised of administrators, teachers, and students. And as a part of this task force, they vetted a number of AI tools, one of which was brought to me as the superintendent for implementation in our school district, and that tool is Magic School AI. Over the last few months, we've worked under the leadership and direction of Dr. Shanisha Evans to develop prompts and a chatbot that will develop lesson plans for our teachers. And those lesson plans are aligned with our gradual release model and our 5 E's model, which are used to guide the development of lesson plans in our school district. And now as a result of that, we have roughly 706 of our teachers in our school district that are actively utilizing the Magic School AI tool and platform. And to date, they've generated over 32,000 lesson plans, quizzes, and other activities that they are actually utilizing in the classroom to help support our students. All right? And we can see here that one of, again, the #1 uses of the tool has been lesson plan creation. We also see worksheet generator, text rewriting, because it's also utilized to help teachers as they support students with their writing, giving them feedback, et cetera. So as we continue to roll out these tools, we believe that it's going to provide an even greater experience for our teachers and giving them some time back to really focus on the more value-added activities, which are leaning into their PLCs, which are professional learning communities where they have great level discussions about content, possible misconceptions that they've identified, and that should be addressed before they roll out lessons for our students. So we'll provide more updates as we progress. Now, shifting a little bit to our climate and culture, I'm very proud to share and announce that as of closing out Performance Cycle 1, which was November 15th, and doing a look back to our Performance Cycle 1 from last school year. Last school year in 2024, at November 15th, we had 35 SSDS incidents reported in our school district. And those are incidents of violence, harassment, et cetera, that have been founded. This year, going up until November 15th, we only had 16 of those incidents that have been reported and identified across our school district. I also want to highlight that if we take a look back to our end-of-year results for last school year, we ended somewhere around having 101 or 110 overall incidents. If you calculate that incidents per 1,000, that puts our number somewhere around 1.01. Those are some of the best results in the nation as it relates to incidents of violence, harassment, et cetera, that could take place in the school district. So contrary to what may be said out in the ether sometimes about our school district is not a place of violence. It is a place where students can come to learn and come to thrive. I'm not saying that we don't have challenges and there isn't conflict, but it is not what I think people try to portray Plainfield Public Schools to be sometimes. The data does not lie. Moving on to our attendance numbers, This is a snapshot of the dashboard that we've created. Again, tying this back to the strategic plan, one of the initiatives was for us to go out and create data dashboards. And this has taken us some time to actually get to this point. We've worked with a number of outside vendors and organizations who promised us the world, that they can come in and create these dashboards for us. Some of them had enormous price tags in the six-figure range, but we've been able to build and develop this platform that we continue to build out each and every day, and we've done this internally with the talented individuals who are right here in Plainfield Public Schools. So a huge shout out to Mr. Ryan Sears, Ms. Eureka Abada, and the rest of those team members for building this dashboard. So you'll notice on the top right-hand corner, our average daily attendance for performance cycle 1 was 94.21%. However, during the early parts of this school year, we have a significant number of students who've been chronically absent. So as we continue to chip away at that, every school district does have a corrective action plan to help address chronic absenteeism, but there's also this overarching issue that I don't think is being discussed on a state or federal level, particularly for communities like ours. What is happening to our population of families who are afraid to send their children to school because of the ICE, mass deportations, et cetera? We know that we have a very transient population here in the city of Plainfield, and we do need some relief from the Department of Education, I think here in New Jersey, to help us identify more ways to engage with our students. As the superintendent of schools, I do not have the authority to offer a student virtual instruction if their parents believe that it is harmful for them to send their children to school or to transport their children to school in fear of them being deported. So if there's something I can ask the board for support or collaboration in terms of advocacy, it would be around that particular item. Last school year, we rolled out our experience surveys, and I think we're still learning, working our way through this, but we have identified some areas of growth and some areas of challenges or opportunities that we need to address. So for our fall 2025 survey, we have 5,130 students participate, 1,060 parents, and almost 1,200 employees participate in the survey. And here's what they've stated to us. One area of measurement has been our Net Promoter Score. And the Net Promoter Score has a very a unique calculation, if you will. This calculation takes all survey responses that are 9s and 10s, which are considered promoters, and it subtracts from it any survey responses that were rated as a 0 or 6, detractors, and the passives, the 7 or 8s, they don't count. So that means that every score that we receive in here, we're looking for our team members to give us a 9 or a 10. If it's not a 9 or a 10, it's not considered to be great service that we're providing as it relates to that question that they may be answering or responding to. So with that, looking at our fall comparison, we saw a decline of roughly 6.8% as it relates to employees and how they've responded to this particular question. How likely are you to recommend this district as a good place to work? Now, when I look at these results, I say to myself as a superintendent, we have a lot of work to do, but we also take a very hard look at our retention rates. And over the last 3 school years, we've consistently maintained staff retention rates of 95% or higher. So I still kind of beg or ask that question, how does this really correlate to the overall experience if we're able to still maintain such a high percentage of our staff members in our school district? And we'll have more focus groups and do outreach to our team members to really get to the crux of this. When asking this question to employees, how likely are you to recommend your immediate work environment as a good place to work? We see that we've actually seen an increase of roughly 2.71%. And I want to take a moment to recognize all of our building leaders, all of our department heads, et cetera, for the work that they're doing to make sure that, again, our team members are supported. When asking parents or caregivers, how likely are they to recommend the district as a good place for their child to learn? We saw a decrease of roughly 12%, but we also have one of the highest rates for our Net Promoter Score in this particular area. If we are anywhere at 30% or above, that's considered to be a very great rating. But we also have to get additional information to understand what's caused this shift here from our parents year over year. Thinking about our caregivers, how likely are you to recommend your child's school as a good place for your child to learn? We saw an increase of 0.39% in our overall Net Promoter Score, again showing excellent results in this space. Now, as we shift to some of the more specific questions, we pulled out a few to provide this evening to show some of the glows and some of the grows. So this specific question, to employees, I have the support needed from leadership in my immediate work environment to accomplish my work objectives. We saw that response increase from a 3.78 to a 3.86, and this is on a Likert scale that goes up to 5. When asked this question, parents responded to the following question: I am treated with respect at this school. We saw a slight dip here from fall to fall comparison, going from 4.4 to 4.31. And for students asking this specific question on their survey, I think my school is clean, right? Going from a 3.34 to a 3.17. I probed a little bit on this question when meeting with students in my advisory council. And students, they're very open. They share some experience of things that they see inside of their school environment. And some have been very clear in stating that some of the concerns that they see as students is that some of their peers are doing some things in the school, such as going into the bathrooms, throwing tissue, things that might just be seen as, kid behavior. And I think this is an opportunity for us to also lean into that, to hold our students accountable, but teach them how to be responsible in those school environments as well. Under the leadership of Mr. Cameron Cox, our CFO, he's collaborating with Mr. Sean Sutton and Dr. Mark Williams to roll out a digital daily checklist that will be utilized in each of our school facilities to confirm that all of the daily cleaning requirements are in fact taking place and are being inspected at the school level. All right. Asking employees, I feel that district level resources are allocated to maximize effectiveness across the organization. This, I believe, it definitely is an area that we have to continue to work on. Board members, you all have completed the budget priority survey that came out. We are going to administer the same survey, slight variation, to our staff members as well. I strongly believe that there is a disconnect at the school level in terms of what team members know about their building-based budgets. And I also think that there's an opportunity for students to also learn a little bit more about how their budgets are developed at the school level. As an example, one student in my advisory council group asked me about field trips for their school today. And I thought it was a great opportunity for the student to engage with me in dialogue about that. But as the superintendent of schools, I would never be at the center of developing an individual field trip experience for a school, if you will. But the student, they didn't know that, right? They thought that the funds to make those field trips possible are funds that are sitting here at the central office, but they're already baked into the school-based budgets. So I think there's, again, opportunities for us to delve a little deeper in that, and as we go through this budget process, making that even clearer to our staff members as it relates to resources that are being allocated at the school level. Parents, I regularly receive feedback from school staff on how well my child is learning. That decreased from a 4.1 to a 3.94. Now, I want to make this connection back to the Magic School AI. Now, if you're a teacher and you're listening, I hope you are all tuned in tonight. Here's what our expectation is. You now have a tool that's going to give you back additional time. Now let's think about how we could also repurpose some of that time and also be even more intentional about reaching out to parents to give them a heads up when their student is doing something well also, right? And not just calling or reaching out to a parent when it's something that's going wrong. Usually, if you're a student and you're doing well, a parent, your child is progressing well, I think it's safe to say that the overwhelming majority of parents probably don't get that feedback until they show up for parent-teacher conferences, right, which only happens at a certain point in the school year. So we will work and develop some professional development activities to help our teachers identify more opportunities to provide that positive feedback to parents, because they definitely want to know how well their students are doing, and not just when we have parent-teacher conferences. Students have responded. I feel students are nice or show respect to each other at my school. So we've seen that number decrease from 3.19 to 3.04. However, we haven't seen increases in the number of HIB cases that have been reported to us at the district level. So that is something that we want to, again, address. Our next step for the overall rollout for our surveys, we've pushed this out to staff at the division department level. We have a professional development that's taking place this Thursday at our administrators retreat. Our team from student education will come in. They will be on site to help principals and other team members identify the protocols to roll out their survey results to their school communities, and to identify their top 2 items, strategies that they will implement to help move these results forward as we prepare for our spring survey results. And lastly, I want us to take us through our board budget priorities, and I will quickly get through these slides. So last year during our budget development process, it was definitely a process that was unlike any other that I've experienced since I've been here in the school district. But I like to highlight a point in that process that I think played out very well, which was the fact that during the course of having multiple meetings, we did receive feedback from various stakeholders. That feedback was in fact taken into consideration. Various models, budget projections were brought back to the board for further consideration. And as we approach this process, we wanted to make sure that we front-loaded budget priorities to really guide myself, Mr. Cox and his team, and the rest of the administration as we go through the process of developing our budget. So to date, board members did complete that survey, and the results really highlighted the need for us to be student-centered, data-driven, and to be fiscally sustainable. The board clearly identified that tax increases should only occur when there's transparent communication and they are tied to measurable student outcomes, and that we should prioritize reallocating existing resources before making cuts or even proposing any type of new tax increases. So our investment focus, based on the survey, should really focus on instructional quality, student wellness and career readiness, authentic learning opportunities. Some specifics that were mentioned in the survey results include standard-based grading and experiential learning opportunities for students, followed by a balance and consistency across our organization as it relates to initiatives that we're rolling out. The board also clearly articulated the need for transparency and greater trust, right? Clear financial reporting and verified data, and accessible charts and participatory budgeting practices. And the last piece was providing workforce stability, making strategic investments in educator recruitment, retention, and support, especially in high-need areas. Here are the actual results from the survey, specifically from the download. And you can see here on this chart that when asked to identify strategic budget priorities, the overwhelming majority of board members responded that academic proficiency, including ELA, math, interventions, curriculum, and instructional quality, has to be at the forefront of our budget development process, followed by graduation and secondary success. And that really ties to our 4Es model, the work that we're doing to expand CTE options and dual enrollment options for our students, and making AP courses more accessible. And that was followed by culture and climate initiatives such as attendance, behavior supports, SEL, and safe and secure schools for our organization. We further asked the board to identify priorities across a few functional areas. And as you can see on this chart, those areas that have more blue, those were rated more favorably or higher as it relates to it being a higher priority or a very high priority in the eyes of the board. And you can see we have early literacy and math interventions, support for multilingual learners and bilingual and dual language programs, supports and investments across college, career, and CTE pathways, social emotional learning, school climate safety, and student conduct. And, just tying the loop on this early literacy and the math interventions, while this is a priority, I personally see this as being a little twofold. While we can provide the additional supports for the interventions, it's also important to make sure that we are investing appropriately in the professional development for our staff, to make sure that they are, in fact, developing that deep learning in these content areas that they are overseeing on behalf of our students. And we made investments 2 years ago. We have 17 intervention teacher assistants across the district. So there's roughly one that is situated or located at each one of our schools. And they are there to provide literacy support and interventions for all of our students in grades K to 5 as it relates to ELA. Again, asking our board members to advise, well, how do you envision us or want us to protect the budget if we have any constrained scenarios? There's still some uncertainties right now. There's a committee at the state level that's working on revamping the school funding formula. So we don't know what our revenue or state aid is going to look like for Plainfield Public Schools at this point in time. We've been told to keep our fingers crossed and that we will probably receive information on the later side, meaning sometime in March. So that means that once we provide the proposed budgets to the board, they'll still be in really a draft form until we really get that final notice from the state. But the board has made it very clear that they want to see and ensure that we are protecting classroom instruction in our core academic programs. And that was a 57% response rate from all commissioners. And then that was spread out amongst the other 3 areas of multilingual learners, specialized student supports, staff compensation and benefits, and facilities and essential operations for maintenance, transportation, and utilities. In our overall budget and preference, the board has indicated that 43% of respondents that they will want us to prioritize maintaining current programs and services with minimal new investments. Very important. And then 43% also indicating that the priority should be to prioritize targeted new investments that improve student outcomes, even if this requires trade-offs. And that is a strategy and approach that I am directing our CFO to ensure he employs during the budget development process to ensure that if there are any new requests and they are unproven and it's not a matter of us, taking 3 programs offline, we have to have a hard conversation about what other trade-offs may need to occur in order for us to fulfill that request. So ends my report this evening on this update. I look forward to providing additional updates to the board and the community. Are there any questions, Madam President, you or any commissioners?
Do we have any questions from commissioners regarding the information that was just shared with us?
So you mentioned early on that some of the early testing was taxing to the district, and there was some burnout. What are some of the effects of the burnout that early in the school year, and how can the district essentially pace themselves after that to recover?
Yeah. So, I think some of the most glaring is that it impacts the pacing guide, particularly a teacher's ability to remain on pace with the curriculum. Yeah. So we have roughly 150 days during the school year before the testing window opens up. And we do have, I want to say it's an aggressive pacing guide, but it's a rigorous pacing guide because we also understand that if we skip any items in the curriculum, that it impacts a student's ability to master that content that they're going to need when they move up a grade. So as an example, if we had 2 additional weeks of testing on the front end, that means that a teacher throughout the district in some classroom missed 2 weeks of additional instructional time that now has to be made up during the course of the school year. So we will take a look at our curriculum maps and we will make the adjustments to figure out what content maybe we can scale down a bit. So as an example, if we were discussing, let's say, decimals, and in the curriculum map, we identified that there would be 14 days of instruction for decimals, maybe the conversation takes place to say, you know what, can we scale that down from being 14 days to being 12 days? And we think about fractions, can we pull a day here from that area as well? So those are ongoing conversations that would take place. As it relates to the students, I think there's also a level of anxiety that comes along with the various testing. You know, the testing is one data point for a student. Your test results on NJ, God bless you, on NJ SLA or the Linkit or iReady assessment, that doesn't determine how successful you're going to be when you graduate from Plainfield Public Schools. But it is a data point that we have to take into consideration as we develop a personalized experience for every student and we figure out what interventions or supports we may need to provide for our student. Our Office of Instruction and Programs, they're taking a very hard look at our testing cycle and schedule, and are only going to be identifying the tests that are absolutely needed for us to execute during the course of the school year. And any other assessments that they believe are not needed, we will in fact remove them. We also provided additional support to our students who are multilingual learners. In prior school years, those students were being tested in both English and Spanish, and every time we provided an assessment. So that meant, you know, they had double the amount of tests of any other student population, but our team has already worked through that to make sure that we've provided that relief for that particular group of students. You're welcome.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from commissioners? All right, no, thank you, Mr. Go ahead.
Can you go back to that other slide? Right there. Yeah, so the one about prioritizing and maintaining current programs and services with minimal new investments. So I understand that the budget is a zero-sum game, meaning that you have, you know, whatever money you're coming in from the state. So the minimum new investments part, can you sort of expound on how this will work within the context of the reserve accounts and making sure, because I know there was guidance that was coming from our Finance and Operations Committee saying that we were going to withdraw from the reserve accounts. Don't think that's prudent. I think definitely for any new investments or the continuing investments that we have, there should be bonding related to that and not come in, for it to not come from the budget, right? The budget is specifically for student achievement. So I'm just trying to figure out with the minimal new investments part, how is that going to be achieved?
It's a great question. Thank you for raising it. I think there are a number of strategies and approaches that we should be taking or even considering as we go through the budget development process. So there are some funding mechanisms that I don't think we've always taken advantage of as a school district. When you think about maybe making investments in equipment, there are lease purchase agreements that are available for school districts to take advantage of, which means if we were buying, let's say, a new rooftop unit to help upgrade air conditioning or heating, that might be $1 million price tag if you buy it up front, or maybe $500,000. But through a lease purchase agreement, that's something that can be paid out over the course of 5 years, paying $100,000 each year. So those are some strategies that can be taken. As we think of our capital investments that we've been making throughout the organization, we've executed the vast majority of those capital projects, and they're coming to an end. So you think about the swimming pool project, which has been going on for at least 2 school years at this point. That is at the last leg, which we'll be closing out in January. Our CTE wing for our audio-visual studio, our culinary arts lab, our new allied health space, those projects are coming to an end. They'll be closed out this school year. And I'm thinking about how can we strategically repurpose the funding that we were allocating to capital projects. Over the last few years, we averaged roughly $14.5 million in our capital outlay. We don't need to spend that much money moving forward. What we need to do is reallocate those funds to academic programs now, but also keep a portion available so that we can invest in the maintenance of the facilities that we currently have. And I think that's important for us to keep in mind as we go through this process. protecting our reserve accounts, that's extremely important for us. And when you look, if you take a look at the district's operating budget for the last 3 years, you'll notice that we've used a considerable amount of fund balance. Fund balance is in essence a form of reserves, but we've used that to balance the budget. This current fiscal year, I think it's $8.5 million, and in the 24-20 school year, it was about $4.8 million. If you look at the administrative code and the chart of accounts, school districts are able to use the budgeted fund balance to help provide tax relief so you don't have to increase taxes. And we've done that consistently for multiple years. As we approach this budgeting process, my directive to our CFO is to ensure that there is minimal or no use of our reserve accounts, because I think it's important for us to really start to think what the future looks like with state funding and how our school district could ultimately be impacted under a new administration. And with those uncertainties, I think it's important for us as a school district to maintain our reserve accounts for rainy days, and to also make sure that we're being prudent and not putting any burdens on the back of the taxpayers.
The reason why I asked that question largely is because for a lot of districts, special education funding, if it's extraordinary aid, typically comes from the reserve fund.
So, yeah, now our extraordinary aid that we've received back as a school district, that's risen significantly over the last few years because we've gotten really good at documenting and understanding the process, ensuring that all of our expenditures for special education programming, that is actually being expended from the proper account lines. A lot of work has taken place, going back to my time as the business administrator. Up until now, we've seen the amount of revenue we receive for extraordinary aid surpass $5 million in some school years, whereas though that number was somewhere around $500,000 when I arrived in the 21-22 school year. With that, we also have to ensure that we continue to push and identify opportunities to bring students back in the district, meaning that we have to have great programs that still meet the needs of our students. During this school year, we've opened up additional classrooms for students who require special education services and supports, and we're identifying more classrooms and spaces for us to open up classrooms in the school district. We're also right now exploring an opportunity to partner with the Education Service Commission of New Jersey. I represent the district as a board member there, and we send quite a few of our students to their programs, whether it's Bright Beginnings, Future Foundations. They now have a program model where they can actually push into school districts to kind of create a satellite, if you will, for their own program inside of our district. So we're exploring all of those options because we also recognize, keeping true to our strategic plan, that one of the major areas of components under the area of finance was for us to analyze our out-of-district costs for special education placements and to begin to bring as many students back into our district as possible. And we have been able to do that in the PSD space for preschool disabled, and we've also been able to do that across some of our elementary schools so far. You're welcome.
All right, if we don't have any more questions, that'll be all. Thank you, Mr. Hassan.
You're welcome.
All right, so at this time, I will ask our student commissioner if you would like to speak on behalf of anything you would like to say, or if you'd like to report out on what's going on in your school or on behalf of your peers at your school, then now is the time for you to do that. Go ahead, use your voice.
Oh, is this on? Oh.
Yes, speak it to the mic.
It's not really much going on. A field trip, ice skating on last Friday. Today we had a JAG conference at Rider University.
Okay.
Basically just
It's kind of bright
exploring
all of a
our
sudden.
connections and networking, getting to meet other people from other schools and things of such.
Okay. All right,
That's it.
okay, thank you. All right, and so I will now entertain a motion to go into public comment.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Commissioner Andrews and seconded by Commissioner Vice President Webb that the board now go into public comment. You've heard the motion. Are you ready for the question? There being none, there's a question. There being none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed have the same right. Motion carried. I'll read the disclosure. At business meetings, a 30-minute period will be provided for the public comment following committee reports. During this time, members of the public may raise issues or questions to express concerns related to district matters. All members of the public will be asked to present their questions or comments before any responses are given. A response is not required, nor will the board engage in back and forth dialogue with any members of the public. Responses, if provided, may come from the board president, superintendent, or designee. Members of the public are encouraged to submit additional questions or comments to the superintendent or board leadership ahead of or following the respective meeting for review and follow-up. Members of the public may address the board once per meeting for a maximum period of 30 minutes as measured by the clock. No extensions will be granted. Time for this time is not transferable from one individual to another. Privilege of the floor is now open.
All right, before we go to anybody virtually, I'm going to ask that whoever we have here in the public in person with us, if you'd like to come up for public comment. Do we have anybody?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Laura Miranda Brown, Plainfield. Congratulations to the new student commissioner. Welcome. And I'd like to offer congratulations to all the students who made honor roll this first marking period. It was really nice to open up Facebook and actually see a neighboring school district publish their honor roll students in the paper. I would love it if we could do that here. I know we celebrate our student athletes. It would be great to see all those kids who put in the hard work of honor roll, earning that status, be similarly publicly feted. As to the question posed earlier by Mr. Hassan, for the parents who are concerned about ICE, here when I was the PAT president here at Booker, we had a whole presentation dedicated to helping parents understand what their rights were. The Child Success Center was integral in making that happen, and the very first thing that was said to all the parents was, please make sure your children come to school. The fastest way to get on the radar of somebody who means you harm is to not bring your children to school. So if we can find a way to message that in a gentle and kind and language-appropriate way, I think that might give parents a little bit more comfort in knowing that we wouldn't be telling anybody anything about their status, but that we really want their children to be here and be safe. Now, as for my bête noire, the VR headsets, now that the money has been allocated, I think I would really love to know what the final number was on the units we received last month. It was between 50 and 60 units. Doing little math and looking on apple.com on what's currently available, the units are about $4,000 each for 1 terabyte. I have to assume that we are getting the 1 terabyte version. Otherwise, it'll be out at approximately, again, $4,000, $180,000 divided by $4,000 is about 45 units. If all we got was 45 units or anything less, we didn't get a particularly good deal. So I'd love to know what the final number is. I'd also love to know when we will receive these units, and again, when they'll be introduced into the classroom, which classrooms. Have those teachers already been instructed that they will be the recipients of these? Have they been given the opportunity to add these to their curriculum? When will the public be introduced into how this new technology will be used? Part and parcel to that is I looked up the district's AI policy, which was passed in February, and I read it today, and it is a little bit weak, right? It doesn't have a lot of teeth to it, just says sort of we have artificial intelligence, we're going to use it in an appropriate way, but doesn't really say anything more about it. But there is a bright spot where the policy states that the district will engage stakeholders, that there will be public meetings and public discussion. I have yet to see those. I'd look forward to knowing, hopefully in the first quarter, since that'll put us halfway through the school year, when the public will be invited to participate in those conversations around artificial intelligence, the use of it in the classroom, the use of it in a grade appropriate way, and how we can help our kids navigate it. It is a complicated topic for even adults to handle. It is one that is going to be more and more relevant to them as they grow older. The
Question
last
3.
was the strategic dashboard and whether or not it was still available online, because I haven't seen it in a long time and I don't know where it is.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can we make sure that somebody gets with Ms. Laura Miranda Brown to make sure that she can access the dashboard that she just referenced? Go ahead, you have the floor.
Okay, hi, my name is Robbie Campbell-Assad, and I'm a resident of Plainfield, 1302 Marlborough Avenue. Congratulations, I'm so proud. Congratulations to you. I am a finance professional, and I'm speaking tonight regarding the budget. I appreciate your vulnerability in saying that you had never seen anything or experienced something like that in the budget process. So I appreciate your honesty and vulnerability, Superintendent. Okay. So I'm speaking tonight regarding the budget's board process and oversight responsibilities in alignment with the board's strategic plan, which emphasizes fiscal responsibility, transparency, equity, and student success. So last year, the budget process started late or was presented to the public in a way that made it difficult for taxpayers to understand how proposed increases were tied to student outcomes or demonstrated value. Residents were asked to support significant financial decisions without clear, accessible information showing what results those dollars were expected to produce. That lack of clarity, understandably, led to public frustration, which you spoke about earlier, and eroded trust in our process, in your process. So at the same time, the data you showed today shows that interim assessments that the district's wide academic performance remains below state average, including low proficiency rates in core subjects, English and math, and graduation outcomes lag behind many peer districts. That makes it even more important that budget decisions are clearly connected to measurable improvements in student achievement. With that context, I'd like to ask the board, first, what steps has the board taken to ensure the budget development process starts earlier, including meaningful budget oversight, and clearly demonstrates how requested funding increases align with student outcomes in the strategic plan? Second, how does the board ensure that surplus dollars and ongoing investments, if there are surplus dollars and ongoing investments, are allocated fairly and strategically to address areas of greatest academic need across the district? Third, given the potential for state funding, federal funding reductions, which you touched upon, what proactive planning is the board doing to ensure that financial decisions made today protect core academic programs and student supports tomorrow? Next, what specific student success metrics does the board use to evaluate whether these financial decisions are producing results, and how are these results communicated publicly in a way taxpayers can easily understand? I reviewed the budget documentation shared in the agenda, and I have to say it does not explain the district spending or whether spending matches priorities. So I respectfully ask the board and administration to produce a simplified, taxpayer-friendly budget summary that outlines how the budget supports students. Thank you.
Thank you. I do just want to make a quick comment in relation to the questions that you asked. I'm not going to answer the questions, but I do want to give you an overview that we will have a full budget overview inclusive of our enhanced budget process at our January business meeting. So we are preparing to share that information with the public.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do we have anybody else in person who would like to come up? Okay, Nick, do we have anybody online? Okay, cue her up. She has the floor.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Madam President. Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Sarah Virgo. Excuse me?
I said good evening.
Good evening. Also just wanted to extend my gratitude to Commissioners Smith and Gray for their their involvement in the school board the last 3 years. And I wanted to thank Mr. Hassan for highlighting some of those potential reasons why we've seen some decline with attendance and in proficiencies, and making those correlations to parents who are concerned regarding ICE and the horrible situations happening right now with the immigration debates. I'm actually really encouraged hearing those comments, because I think it's absolutely necessary if we're going to educate the whole child and take into account where we can really support and best support our families, that we have those conversations. So I want to thank you for that, Mr. Hassan. I also think to the commissioners that it's a real opportunity as you're going to DC in January, and as we have our delegate assemblies coming up twice a year, to advocate for these kinds of things when you're having those conversations, or in just the circles that you're with other electeds, to make those asks and really bring those issues to the forefront. As far as I know, there's no official position from NJSBA, so again, establishing a policy position through the delegate assembly would be a really opportunity for Plainfield to lead the way in this space and serve not only our students, but students facing similar unimaginable circumstances across the state. So I look forward to hearing more about your efforts in that space. And then finally, just looking at the agenda, once it was posted, there are some policies that I've noticed just the last couple of meetings that are not posted. Up until a few minutes ago, they didn't appear there. I think just in preparing for public comment and for others to be aware of what policy changes are being suggested, having the policies there and identifying what changes you're all proposing would be really helpful. So just an ask perhaps for the future to have that visible when publishing the agenda. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you. Did anybody else raise their hands while she was speaking? All right, I'll entertain a motion to close public comment at this time.
It's been properly moved by Commissioner Andrews and seconded by Commissioner Dr. Harris that the board now close public comment at this time. You've heard the motion. Are you ready for the question? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed have the same right. Motion carried.
Okay, I will now entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Commissioner Smith and seconded by Commissioner Andrews that the board now adjourn into executive session. You've heard the motion. Are you ready for the question? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed have the same right. Motion carried.
Thank you. I anticipate we will be in executive session for, at minimum, an hour, possibly an hour and a half.
Commissioner Vice President Webb and seconded by Commissioner Andrews that the board now reconvene public session. You heard this motion. Are you ready for the question? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed have the same right. Motion carried.
Motion for consent agenda.
1 second there, Mr. Andrews. I think we have some administrative items that need to be handled.
Slow down.
Yeah. And then after you do that, I'll do the
Sawdust didn't stop on the gavel before.
Madam President, Commissioners, I'd like to state for the record that item 07, Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, that was a placeholder. We will be pulling that item from the agenda as the auditors are not yet prepared to provide that audit to the district. We expect that presentation to be made to the board at our January board meeting.
No, they did the extension too.
And the state also provided an extension for the reporting deadline. Item Q2, reporting of policy, 7716, naming of facility. This item is not an actual policy update. It is not a policy change. This is an update on the current naming process for the Plainfield Early Learning Center. So that item should be changed to reflect the discussion item and not an item that's for action or consent vote.
Okay. And we had some items walked on.
Yes, Madam President. I'm just updating those items that Mr. Hassan just stated. All right, that administrative pull for 07 has been completed and noted on the agenda, but it has not been removed. It's just noted as administratively pulled and no action. And then we have 2 walk-on items, Madam President. The first one is the resolution establishing, the resolution establishing the date, time, and place for the annual reorganization meeting as a walk-on item. This will be item 010, and the resolution shall read, establishing the time, date, and place of the annual reorg meeting. Whereas the Board of Education Plainfield Public School Board is required to hold annual reorganization meeting pursuant to NJSA 18A:10-3, and whereas the board is authorized to establish a date, time, and place for its reorganization meeting by resolution and provide proper public notice in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 at sequence. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of Plainfield Public Schools in the County of Union, State of New Jersey as follows. Annual reorganization meeting for the Board of Education of Plainfield Public Schools shall be held on Tuesday, January 6, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. Said meeting shall take place at the Charles and Anna Booker Elementary School at 730 Central Street, Plainfield, New Jersey, 07062. The board secretary / business administrator hereby directed to provide appropriate notice of this meeting in accordance with law, including posting on the district's website and the official meeting notice locations, and to publish notice pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act. And 4, formal action may be taken at said meeting. Be it further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution shall be provided to the superintendent of schools and the board secretary for distribution and posting. Again, that will be item 010. And then the second walk-on agenda item will be resolution authorizing the execution of a settlement agreement with Navigate 360 as a walk-on item. That will be 011. And it reads, whereas the Board of Education Plainfield Public Schools has reviewed a proposed settlement agreement with Navigate 360 presented for its consideration, and whereas the board has determined that approval of said settlement agreement in its best interest of the district, now therefore be it resolved that the Plainfield Board of Education of the Plainfield Public Schools hereby approves the settlement agreement with Navigate 360 and authorizes the board president, superintendent of schools, and board secretary / school business administrator to execute the settlement agreement and take all necessary actions necessary, to effectuate its intent. Be it further resolved that the resolution shall take effect immediately. And those items will get moved over.
And there's one more item to note. There's a walk-on which classifies as a change under item K9, intramural units for the 2025-26 school year under Plainfield High School. Number 17, employee Deborah Johnson, science teacher, being formally added to the list to receive 4 intramural units as the advisor for the district's robotics club.
What about this one?
That's D3.
Wasn't it walked on tonight? No. Okay.
Bless you.
In the top, before, okay. Maybe because you mentioned it, like, and I just assumed it was. Okay. All right, so,
I'd like to make a motion for a consent
so
agenda.
that we could do discussion. He wasn't ready this time.
Second, sorry.
It's been properly moved by Commissioner Webb and seconded by Commissioner Andrews.
I have a question.
Hold on one second.
Oh, sorry.
It's been properly moved and second, moved by Commissioner Webb and seconded by Commissioner Andrews, that the board move this agenda as a consent agenda. You heard the motion. Are you ready for the question? Question, Commissioner Gray.
Yes. So why was 07 removed? Because it said something about a corrective action plan. I'm just curious as to what that corrective action plan was.
Would you like me to answer you, asking Mr. Hassan?
Yeah, I'm just asking a question. Can you tell me what the corrective action plan?
There's no corrective action plan because we don't have the final audit. So we expected to receive that, for that to be presented to the board here during the December board meeting. The state of New Jersey pushed back the deadline for the audit submissions. And that's for every school district in the state. So our auditors don't have that prepared to present until January.
Got it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I also have a question. D5, it says it's just up for discussion tonight, and I know we spoke briefly about this compact last meeting, and it was suggested that further conversation goes on with this when a new board came in, because they deserve to be a part of this conversation too. But now I see it's back on the agenda for discussion, and we don't seem to be having a discussion tonight, so.
Yeah, so the only discussion on this is providing an update with the board. It was requested during last meeting to make sure that I exhausted my efforts to put together a meeting that can take place. We have that tentatively scheduled for January. I did provide that update to our board leadership when we had our check-in for the agenda during this week. But outside of that, there's nothing to discuss on the matter.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
And it's not listed for any action to be taken, so.
Just discussion.
Any other questions?
Can you speak to the merits and maybe what was the investigation, maybe by the state, and the reason why they may have rendered a corrective action plan?
So right now, I think preliminary, what we have so far in the audit, I don't think there was any repeat findings that were identified. No, the last thing we received, there was some sample sizes for purchase orders.
Purchase
Just
orders
filed there with
relative
confirming
to,
orders.
relative to ESSER funding that trickled into how we eventually paid for the unit ventilators 2 years ago at Maxon and Hubbard. Because they appear as local funds, but ultimately came relative from a grant from the feds through ESSER funding, there was some sample sizing that the auditors were still going through.
Any other questions? Okay, I just would like Mr. Hassan to speak to this in particular, because we talked about it briefly, and then now we all
Absolutely.
have it, so speak to it.
Yeah, so last.
That is, wait, what number is it? D, it's under.
It's under office, yeah, it's
D3.
item 3. But last week, was contacted via email by Apple and extended an invitation to participate or apply for a national superintendent leadership cohort that's going to take place during the course of the school year from January through the end of the school year, roughly around the June timeframe. This experience is supposed to bring together roughly 20 superintendents and also members of leadership teams throughout the country to discuss, come together for some in-person experiences, also some virtual sessions, to come together and have candid conversations about some challenges that we may be experiencing across the education space, but to also give us opportunities to do site visits to some of the more forward-thinking school districts that have prominent CTE programs throughout the country. So one of those site visits will be to St. Vrain's. If you've ever done any research, they're one of the top-rated schools in the country as it relates to their CTE pathways and programs. CTE programming continues to be a huge focal point for us, and I think it would be a great opportunity to participate in this experience. I've selected, if I am given the opportunity to participate, Mr. Chris Payne, Chief of Information Technology Officer, and Dr. Shanisha Evans, who is our Supervisor of CTE, to serve as the 2 additional district leaders to participate in this experience. And the details are here, are attached to the resolution, but also in the letter that I provided to the board seeking the opportunity to participate in this experience.
So I just have a few questions because the first thing I see is Apple. I know we just, at the last meeting, I was not present in person, but we just approved the purchase of the Apple Vision, and I'm not sure where we are with that at the moment. I know that we requested to, I requested to get an update, so I don't know where you are with that, but we'll get the update regarding that, hopefully. But I'm trying to find out, how is this a direct benefit to our students? We'll pay more money for you and 2 staff members to go out here, but how does this directly benefit what they're gonna be doing day to day with their Apple technology? Because they've had it. We've been a one-to-one district for some time now, I think before I came on the board. So I'm trying to figure out, how does this help? How does this catapult us into the future of technology in advance of what we're already doing with the Apple technology? I know you've been presenting with Apple, and I know that you've had some experience presenting with them and with their other technology, learning about it and everything, but this just kind of seems like you're going on these visits with superintendents, and how does that translate to?
It translates to professional development for superintendents, which I think is important for me to have, just as it is for every other staff member in the organization. But I think this experience is more targeted towards exposure and opportunities to connect and learn more about how we can further expand our CTE programs and initiatives that we have. I think that has a direct benefit to our students, and I think it is also helping me sharpen my skill set to meet the demands and the requests of the board to further expand our CTE programs. As it relates to the Apple Vision Pros, they have been ordered for the district, and we did go with a smaller size in ordering, roughly around 45 sets. And as I explained at the last board meeting, that allows us the opportunity to also scale, meaning that we don't have to have one of those devices for every student. While we've been a one-to-one school district for quite some time, and I think the same thing would be true whether we were a one-to-one school district with Google or whether we were just talking about Apple or if it was a Windows product, et cetera, our ability to provide great experiences for our students is really only as good as our ability to implement the technology into the school environments every day. And I think it hasn't been until the last few years that we really started to lean into that more to figure out how to provide the best experiences for our students and also provide those experiences for our teachers so that they understand how to leverage the technology inside of the classrooms. I think this is another opportunity to help us gain that level of understanding as the professionals to figure out how we could actually take this to the next level. And I think we still have some work to do, but again, I think this provides us with the opportunity to learn from others and figure out how we can bring those great strategies here to Plainfield Public Schools.
Can we provide that type of training and support to the teachers who are actually going to be teaching the students this technology and the content that goes along with it, and making sure that they have the professional development that they need and utilizing the technology that we already have?
So we do that in a number of ways already in the district. As a part of our partnership with Apple, we do have an Apple specialist that comes in and provides professional development for our teachers. We also have a number of what we call vanguards here in our school district that are Apple certified and trained that actually go in and provide specific professional development to teachers how to better utilize and leverage the technology into the classroom. But I think the piece that we also want to learn as leaders of the organization is also the strategies that are being employed by other school districts, right? It's not necessarily always the teacher that sits in the room to identify how to use the iPad in the classroom, but there's usually a conversation somewhere taking place about the strategy, the direction of the organization, what kind of investments need to be made in technology, how do you protect those investments, how do you leverage technology to create different experiences for students when we think about, moving a school district or organization forward. And that's what we hope to get as the leaders participating in this experience. And with that, we will bring that back to the organization so that everyone benefits from it.
Do we have any other questions?
I have just one more question. L11, after school enrichment academy. After school program, I see that majority of the teachers are going to be at high school. Is that program strictly at high school, and so we're going to like bus kids from other schools to the high school?
All right, so this, thank you for the question. This particular program is funded by Title I, and this is a part of the annual school plans extended day programs. So for those schools that you see listed, Plainfield High School is heavy because Plainfield High School is a comprehensive status school, and the funding that they're utilizing to run this program is specifically tied to the school because of that status. But we do have the same programs running in other schools also, such as Barlow is one of the schools that also has the program that's being run as well. They just have a little more funding on the side of PHS. No, because the program would specifically be, this program, because of the funding, has to specifically be for students at Plainfield High School. But we do run we do run our enrichment programs across multiple schools throughout the district. Some schools have school-based youth services. Some schools have 21st century, depending on how the grant was written. But across the board, every school has an enrichment program and activity that's provided for students. And we also have the same programs that we offer for multilingual learners, because that one has to be a little more specific. And that's open to parents as well, because we have to offer the same program to the parents too. You're welcome.
Do we have any other questions from commissioners? Go ahead.
Motion to move the consent agenda.
So those were all questions on the motion. So if there are no further questions on that motion, approval to move has been properly moved again by Commissioner Webb and seconded by Commissioner Andrews to move the agenda as a consent agenda. If there are no other questions, there being none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed have the same right.
A motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Commissioner Vice President Webb and seconded by Commissioner Gray, I believe, and Commissioner Andrews to approve the consent agenda at this time. You've heard the motion. Are you ready for the question? There being none, I will call the roll.
Make sure that no board members are voting on their own.
All board members will be abstained from any personal reimbursement, and there is no travel on this at this time. Commissioner Gray.
So I'm gonna have to vote no on the board committee reports because there are no board committee reports. So no to E1, which is personnel committee report. No to E2, which is instruction programs committee report. No to 3, which is finance and operations committee report, which the budget calendar was moved up, but we don't have a report. And then no to policy committee report for the last week.
So,
And then, hold on, not done.
okay.
Sorry about that. And no to D3. No to everything related to bills, transfers, 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06. And that's largely because there has not been an audit report done, right? again, this is the budget, this is my daughter relies on this budget, y'all gotta start taking it more serious. So, no to 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, and looking forward to those, budget numbers, whenever you get them. Thank you.
So I just want to clarify some things for you, Commissioner Gray, just
Yes,
so
sir.
that you're properly aware. The committee reports, we don't vote on them. Those are for discussion and for information.
So why are you on the agenda?
Because they're for discussion and information.
So I can vote no to them?
So that's why I'm clarifying for you. Those aren't something that you would need to single out as a no vote.
Okay.
Those items are there for discussion purposes. And in terms of the board secretary report, the payroll certification, journal payroll checks, list of bills, and transfer report, those monthly reports, ultimately a year's worth of those do tie into the budget, to the audit, but though they're not predicated on the state-approved delay in submitting the audit that the auditors are still completing on behalf of the board.
Okay, I'm still no. I appreciate it.
Okay. So with that, I won't note your no's on the committee reports, which are non-action items. Would you still like me to denote your no's on 01 through 5?
Thank you.
Noted. Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
That's a yes for everything, sir?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Dr. Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Hembry? Yes. Commissioner Johnson?
Yes to everything. I have to abstain from 08, where it's labeled Park,
Got you.
and I'm also abstaining from K11, Clark.
Got you. Commissioner Malone?
Yes, for everything.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes, I just have one more question for Mr. Hassan. This Apple superintendent leadership, was that like that was like a personal invite? Because I was trying to look it up online and I didn't really I didn't see anything. So is that like an internal membership thing that you're a part of that like this wouldn't pop up?
I think it's the first year that they're doing the cohort.
Got it, okay, okay. So that's what I want to hear, because I was like, wait, I don't see anything about this. Okay, so sure, yes, for everything for me. I just needed that clarification.
Commissioner Vice President Webb?
Yes.
Commissioner President Wyatt?
Yes to everything. I'm a no to D3. That's it.
Okay. With the noted no's and abstentions, all agenda items have passed.
Motion.
No, I was killing a fly.
I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Was
Second.
that Commissioner Malone?
Y'all act like y'all
It's been
doing-
properly moved by Commissioner Malone
Dang,
and
you
seconded
going
by
bad, nigga, home.
Commissioner Dr. No, was that Dr. Harris? I'm sorry, and Commissioner Smith speaking into existence, that the board now adjourn this meeting in the public. You heard the motion. Are you ready for the question? There being none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed have the same right. Motion carried at 10:48 p.m.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.